the J2 team. My name is Javette.
And I'm Elisa.
We'll be looking at 9 essential instructional strategies by Robert Marzano, which is a perfect recipe for student achievement, much like executing the perfect chocolate chip recipe as we'll be doing today.
Delicious. Before we begin, we will need to have all of our ingredients in front of us. Make sure you have the following: butter, which is identifying similarities and differences; sugar, which is summarizing and note-taking; flour, which is reinforcing effort and providing recognition; and eggs, homework and practice.
Also, we're going to need some baking soda, non-linguistic representations. And in addition to that, baking powder, cooperative learning. Can't forget that salt, setting objectives and providing feedback. For those lactose intolerant people, other options, you can still use milk, generating and testing hypotheses. And the finale, chocolate chips, cues, questions, and advanced organizers. Where do we begin?
Let's go. So the first step is, as we said before, which is the butter step, and that's identifying similarities and differences. The ability to break a concept into its similar and dissimilar characteristics allows students to understand and often solve complex problems by analyzing them in a more simple way. Teachers can either directly present similarities and differences, accompanied by deep discussion and inquiry, or simply ask students to identify similarities and differences on their own. 2 ways you can use this in the classroom are by using a Venn diagram, or you can engage students in comparing, classifying, and creating metaphors and analogies. The second part of our recipe is sugar, which is summarizing and note-taking. These skills promote greater comprehension by asking students to analyze a subject, to expose what's essential, and then put it in their own words. 2 ways you can use this in the classroom are providing a set of rules for creating a summary, and when summarizing, ask students to question what is unclear and clarify those questions, and then predict what will happen next. The third part of our recipe is flour, which is effort and recognition. Effort and recognition speak to the attitudes and beliefs of students, and teachers must show the connection between effort and achievement. 2 ways you can use this in your classroom are sharing stories about people who succeeded by not giving up. An example we saw from the other day in class is the video of the home run. That person never gave up. The second way you can
video.
It was really good.
Yeah, very inspiring.
Yes, it was. Thanks, Mr. T. The second way we can use this in the classroom is having a student keep a log of their weekly efforts and achievements, reflect on it periodically, and even mathematically analyze the data. And the fourth part of our awesome recipe is homework and practice, which is the eggs. Homework provides students with the opportunity to extend their learning outside the classroom. However, research shows that the amount of homework assigned should vary by grade level, and that parent involvement should be minimal. 2 ways you can use this in your classroom are establishing a homework policy with advice such as keeping a consistent schedule, setting, and time limit that parents and students might not have considered. You should also tell students if homework is for practice or preparation for upcoming units and tests. And also, the other way to maximize the effectiveness of feedback is by varying the way it is delivered.
All right, so let me take over now.
Yes.
Baking soda, long linguistic representations. So there are 2 forms, linguistic and visual. So the more students use both forms in the classroom, the more opportunity they have to achieve. So ways of application to incorporating this is incorporating words and images using symbols to represent relationships. Also using physical models and physical movement to represent information. So by having these 2 ways, 2 methods, will help initiate a student's learning. Next ingredient, we're still in the baking zone, baking powder, cooperative learning. This helps students organize into groups by yielding a positive effect on overall learning. When applying these strategies, you should ensure that you keep those groups small and don't overuse this strategy, because it could be systematic and inconsistent in your approach. So ways to implement this is grouping students considering a variety of criteria, so not one specific. Some could be common experiences, common interests. Look at that, assess it, then apply it, but change it up. You want to mix it up. Also vary the group sizes and objectives. In addition as well, design group work around the core components of cooperative learning by group processing, appropriate use of social skills, face-to-face interaction, and as well as group and individual accountability. Now we're going to look at SALT, setting objectives and providing feedback. So by doing this, you're providing students with the directions for their learning. And they should not be too specific, but they should be easily adaptable to students' own objectives. So really attainable, but not over attainable. Setting a core goal for a unit and then encouraging the students to personalize that goal by identifying areas of interest to them. Also using contracts to outline the specific goals that students must attain and the grade they will achieve if they meet these goals. So make sure you look at that. 2 more to go. Bear with me. I'm starving.
I'm with you.
Yeah, okay, thank you, hon. Milk, generating and testing hypotheses. So this is a deductive approach using a general rule to make a prediction, and this strategy works really best. So when a hypothesis is induced or deduced, students should clearly explain their hypotheses and conclusions. So have the student articulate, explain what they mean, what their intention is, grab it, get it from them. You want to hook that. Ask students to predict what would happen if an aspect of a familiar system, such as the government, transportation, whatsoever, were to change. Get them thinking, critical thinking. That's what you want them to do. Also, ask students to build something using limited resources. And this definitely generates questioning and hypotheses, which may help the student build on their learning skills. Finally, my favorite, chocolate. Chocolate chips.
Thank God.
Cues, questions, and advanced organizers. So this helps students use what they already know about a topic to enhance further learning. The research has shown that tools such as this highly help students become analytical, focus on what's important, and most effective when presenting before a learning experience. So applications of this is when you're asking a student a question, pause, give them time, and then have them answer. Also, vary the styles of advanced organizers use. So don't keep it one particular thing, change it up. We like change, we like variety, and that keeps engaged learning. All right, is everything all mixed up?
Everything is ready. So I think that the 9 essential instructional strategies used by Robert Marzano is a great way to get student achievement in your classroom. And it's also a great way for them to succeed and excel in the things that you're learning, that you're teaching and learning in your classroom.
And you definitely need all of them to
Absolutely.
make one wonderful recipe.
Exactly, just like you need all the ingredients to make one delicious recipe, which is our chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. So let's take it out of the oven.
Yeah.